Listen up, nature keepers. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, and by the time we're through, you'll be speaking for nature too. I hope you're hungry, because today we're going to an orchard. An orchard is where fruit trees grow. Peaches, plums, cherries, and nectarines are all known as stone fruits. Stone fruits have a pit or a stone in the center of the fruit that protects the seed. Do you know what kind of fruit lemons and oranges are? Citrus fruits, my favorite. Some kinds of fruit also grow on bushes, like blackberries and raspberries. Farmers grow lots of delicious fruits and vegetables that you can buy at your local market. This is called produce. Produce gives us yummy, healthy food to eat. But growing produce can hurt the environment by using pesticides, fossil fuels, and tons of water. This is Farmer Rob. He's working to grow produce in a way that actually helps give back to the land and nature.
Here at Primal Pastures, our permaculture model is to integrate animals into the orchard. Our orchard has over 100 different types of trees in it. The trees benefit from the fertilizer from the animals, and so when the animals poop around it, that gives nutrition to the soil and the trees. And the ducks that run through the orchard, they also eat the bugs and the insects and the snails off of the trees and help protect them. We also integrate the cats and the dogs into the orchard because we have larger rodents like squirrels and mice that also enjoy eating the fruit. By running them through, they scare those off so that we still get the delicious fruit that we need without having to spray anything. Soil is where it all starts. So on the left, you just have dirt with almost no organic or biodiversity or health to it at all. And then here you actually have healthy soil. And in my right hand, there's over 50 billion different living organisms, which is more than all the people on the earth. By creating healthy soil, you're able to create much healthier grasses and plants, and then the animals that eat those become healthier, and then the people that eat those become healthier. Each fruit is going to be different when it ripes. So citrus, you typically see them change colors. They become a bright, vibrant color. This is one of our Meyer lemon trees, and you can see the different stages. When they first start, they look like tiny limes. And the reason it's all green is because the plant wants to protect it in those younger stages, but as it gets older, it turns yellow because it wants you to pick it. That's how its seed gets spread. And so it turns it to a bright color that stands out off the tree, and then probably in the next week or so, this will be a ripe lemon that we'll be able to make delicious lemonade out of. So this is a pomegranate tree, and you can look here as they started as these little buds, and then they turn as flowers, and then the pomegranate will grow from the inside of the flower. You can just crack them open and either eat the seeds or you can juice them. The juice is phenomenal. These are our thorn blackberries. Part of their defense mechanism in nature is thorns, so when you're picking them, you just have to be a little more careful. You can see how sharp they are, but it's just crazy how much fruit one blackberry bush can produce. So there's over 1,000 blackberries at different stages on this bush. These are the grapes you get in the store. They're table grapes, and they're growing on a vine, which is a different type of plant, and the way it grows where you have a central stem that comes up and then the branches come off the vine. And then you can see where the table grapes just fall down, and this is them just starting out, and they'll get bigger and bigger until you see them the size of the ones that you typically get in the store. This is the cotton candy variety, so when you eat it, it actually tastes just like cotton candy, but it's much healthier. This is our strawberry plant here, and they taste delicious. We put this straw down on the ground because we call that soil armor, and what that does is that protects the soil from the sun. Then you don't have to waste nearly as much water to produce the same amount of fruit. So this is our vegetable garden. Here what we've done is we planted our squash surrounding the corn, and the reason we do that is we plant the corn first, let the corn start to grow, and as the corn gets taller, then the squash will grow in and around it. And this provides protection to the lower stalk of the corn, and so they both help each other grow. So the idea behind the farm is really to bring the community out to the farm. You can pick all the organic fruits you want, eat whatever you want here, and by doing that, it cuts down on the amount of packaging and picking and transportation costs and gas, and is really beneficial to the environment as well.
Welcome back, nature keepers. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, and by the time we're through, you'll be speaking for nature too. Today we're going to the farm. Old McLorax had a farm, E-I-E-I-O-ho-ho, and sorry. The farm is where people grow crops and raise animals. You can find lots of different kinds of animals on a farm, like cows, pigs, and chickens. Pigs have excellent memories and are really smart, even smarter than your dog. But just like dogs, they love belly rubs. That hits this part a little to the left. Oh, yeah. Chickens like to cluck. But did you know that the chicken language has over 24 different types of sounds? That doesn't even include body language. These animals give people food, clothing, and other goods. But raising animals on a farm can also hurt the environment if they aren't taken care of properly. This is Farmer Rob, who's working to run his farm in a way that can actually help the land.
It all starts with the soil. We call ourselves grass farmers. You can't grow grass without healthy soil, and your animals can't grow unless you have healthy grass. So when we originally landed on this property, it had been farmed for years as a potato farm, and there was almost no organic material or nutrition in the soil at all. It was basically space dust. So the first thing that we did is we brought animals out here, we started putting that organic material back into the soil. Now you start to see all these other animals in this ecosystem form around the ones we're running. So here on the farm, we have cows, we have sheep, we have pigs, we have geese, we have ducks, and also we have the native wildlife, so the hawks, the owls. We also have ground squirrels, we have different rodents, and all of these things coexisting on the property. Oh, and our livestock guardian dogs. Come here, Doug. Come here, buddy. Come here. The dogs are essential to the farm because we have lots of animals that want to eat our chickens, eat our pigs, and so the dogs are there. They live with the animals 24/7. They're there to keep them safe and protect them. In the Pyrenees Mountains in France for thousands of years, you would have these dogs. That's why they kind of look like sheep, because they would lay within the sheep herds, and if a wolf or a predator came, they would be in there and they would be able to defend them. And so definitely a crucial part of the farm. So when an animal is raised on a farm where only one animal is raised, like a cow, a lot of times there can be negative impacts on that animal, and the farm can have negative impacts on the environment. And so what we try to do here is integrate all the animals together, and they can really improve the environment around it. We can head over here and check out the cows. If we get too much closer, they'll just run off. Cows are really fun to raise for a number of reasons. One of them is just the way that they integrate in nature. Even when they eat and the way they wrap their tongue around grass and pull, that tugs on the roots and it stimulates growth. And cows are super intelligent. That's exactly what you want. Poop is great. It's the fertilizer for the soil. And the soil then has the bacteria in it, which breaks down the poop, and that creates a healthier spot for the grasses to grow. The grasses keep nutrients in the soil, and they keep the water from running off, and it makes a much healthier environment for the animals. A lot of what we do is mimic nature. So if you look at the Great Plains hundreds of years ago, you had herds of millions and millions of buffalo. They would come through and eat the grasses down. And so we run our larger ruminants first. So the cows come through and they eat the grasses down. And then as the antelope would follow the bison and the buffalo, now we have our sheep and our goats follow behind that. And then the chickens follow behind that, and the pigs, and they're kind of the cleanup crew. We let the ground rest and we let the soil heal. And then by the time we run over that pasture again the next time, we have a much healthier grass and environment. Chickens are really fun to work with for a number of reasons. They lay really cool eggs. You can have blue eggs, you can have brown eggs, you can have white eggs, even green eggs. The hens are actually very proud, so when they're in there laying an eggs, they squawk and they let everybody know that they're doing it. The inside has holes all over the floor, so we can control how much manure is in each spot. Basically, we just move the coop about a full length every day. We encourage our chickens to be outside eating bugs and worms. I would say about 40% of their diet comes from doing exactly what they're doing, out picking, scratching, foraging. They almost look like a T-Rex the way they kind of walk. You'll see them in the mud, they're digging with their talons, looking for worms, really letting them express the chickenness of the chicken. But one thing you always see is vegetarian fed chicken when you're in the supermarket. And chickens are not meant to be vegetarians. So we feed the chickens in the coop, and the pigs are always under it, so a lot of the feed falls on top of the pigs. Pigs are awesome because a pig is what you would picture on a very lazy afternoon at the spa. They're getting their mud facials and rolling around and just being dirty, but it looks like they probably have the most fun on the farm out of anybody. There's never a dull moment with the geese, and the geese are a little bit more aggressive. You have to be careful around them because they'll hiss at you, but the geese are fun to be around because if there is a predator that comes in, the geese will alert the dogs and let the dogs know that they need to come protect the other animals. Farms that aren't organized in a regenerative manner can definitely have a negative impact on the environment. So one of the best ways to help regenerative agriculture is to learn about it, is to educate yourself on where your food comes from and how it's raised. Talking with your friends and researching it are great ways.
Greetings, nature keepers. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, and by the time we're through, you'll be speaking for nature too. Grab your water shoes, because today we're gonna hop around the pond. A pond is a small area of still fresh water. Ponds may look small, but they do a big job in supporting all kinds of wildlife. Many creatures love to hang out at the pond, me included. Water birds like ducks, geese, and herons build their nests near the water's edge. Other animals you might see are insects, fish, and amphibians. Amphibians live on both the land and in the water. One of my all-time favorite amphibians are frogs. Did you know some frogs can jump more than 20 times their body length? That's like a human jumping higher than a 10-story building. Wow! I bet you didn't know that almost 2/3 of all freshwater wildlife live in ponds. Ponds are really important because they support biodiversity. That's a fancy word meaning a variety of living things that are interconnected. Here to tell us more is a science teacher, Christina.
One of the beautiful things about the environment is the way that everything is connected. The pond is a great example of an ecosystem. An ecosystem is the community of everything around an area, the plants, the animals, and the non-living things like the rocks and the minerals. And in an ecosystem, the things are all depending on each other. Even if something doesn't seem important, like you may think, bugs aren't very important. But if there were no bugs, the birds wouldn't have anything to eat, and there wouldn't be any birds. So each thing is important in its own way. All right, I'm looking for bugs to catch. I see some swimming around in here. Look at this cute little snail. Snails love water. They need it for their little trail of slime that comes out the back. I think this guy is very cute. You may wonder, how do plants and algae get their food? Because they just seem to sit there, right? They don't go anywhere. Well, they take the heat and light from the sun. The plant's roots take nutrients from the soil, and the leaves take in air. And the sun helps the plant process those minerals and what they get from the air, and that's how the plant gets the food, and that is called photosynthesis. In the food chain, the animals eat the plants, and that energy goes to the animals. And then some animals may eat other animals, like birds eat insects, and that energy then goes into the birds. The energy flows through the food chain, all coming from our lovely sun. So right here we have some poison oak. This can grow near ponds, and it is something to watch out for because if you touch it, it can make you super itchy, and it is not fun. If you do get some poison oak, look for this plant. It's called mugwort. People call it nature's antidote. Rub it where you got the poison oak, and it should help with the itching some. When you're visiting a pond, you want to make sure to protect the biodiversity and the nature. This is this plant's and animal's home, so you don't want to harm their home. You want to treat the things you find with respect, and you want to leave it beautiful so when other people come and visit, they can enjoy it too. In general, for the environment, it's a great idea to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Especially don't leave any trash at the pond, but don't leave it anywhere. Find ways to reuse what you have so that we're not creating waste. If you enjoy learning about ponds, one of the best things you can do is learn more. Study what is around you, where you live, and sharing what you learn with other people. It's so nice and relaxing to just sit by a pond, take in the sounds, and enjoy the sights. It's a great place to bring your family or your friends, and have a great day out in nature.
Hello, nature keepers. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, and by the time we're through, you'll be speaking for nature too. Come along with me and grab your reef-safe sunscreen, because today we're going to the beach. Ah, yes, the beach. A place where you can go play in the ocean, build a sandcastle, and have some ice cream. But there is so much more at the beach. It's teeming with life. Beaches are made out of sand. Sand comes from rocks, minerals, and even shells. Water, wind, and weather over thousands of years causes these things to crumble like a cookie. That's called erosion. Have you noticed any living things while you were at the beach? Take a closer look, and you'll see tons of plants, insects, birds, fish, and animals all call the beach their home. But things like trash, pollution, and overfishing are bad news for marine life. That's why they need our protection. Let's visit the Marine Mammal Care Center, where some lovely humans are saving the lives of wild seals and sea lions.
The Marine Mammal Care Center is a hospital for sick and injured seals and sea lions that strand on the coast of Los Angeles County. We have thousands upon thousands of sea lions and harbor seals that live right off of our coast. And they'll haul out on the shore if they're not feeling well or if they just need to rest. The seals and sea lions that we see here at the Marine Mammal Care Center come to us for a variety of different reasons. The primary reason is lack of nutrition. We're going to make sure that they get the care that they need so we can get them rehabilitated, which means helping them to feel better, and then released back out into the ocean.
Everyone that you're seeing today, almost everybody is a year old or less.
So we have a California sea lion. You can tell a sea lion as different from a seal if you notice ear flaps on the outside, long front flippers that he's balancing on with no claws, and his rear flippers tucked underneath his body. So a sea lion can more or less walk on all fours as opposed to the elephant seals and the harbor seals that have to inch around on their bellies like a worm. We call it galumphing is the name for that. So the elephant seals here, these are the ones getting really close to release. Their eyes totally black because this is a very bright situation for them, considering that they dive hundreds if not thousands of feet below the surface where it's really dark and really cold. When they come up to the surface, it's going to be really bright. Those whiskers allow them to sense the ripples made by a fish or a squid that's swimming through the water, so they can use those to be able to hunt down their food even if it's pitch black.
The harbor seals that we have, they'll feed on the shoreline and beaches, harbors, kelp forests. They're gonna find little fishes in between the cracks and crevices and things like that. And then our California sea lions, they're open ocean specialists. We feed exclusively herring and sardines. It's what gets them the most nutrition, the most fats, the most water, everything that they need.
Oftentimes the animals can gain 2 to 3 times their body weight while they're with us. So they can grow incredibly fast. And then we'll put the animal into sometimes a large dog kennel is what we'll use. And then we have this other device we call the moon buggy. It has these big wheels that roll on the sand, drive them down to the beach, and then show them the ocean. And oftentimes they just cruise right out of the pen and into the water. There's so much that we can all do to help to protect marine life, no matter how old you are. Thinking with the environment in mind is one of the most important things. We can make sure that we're reducing the amount of plastic that we purchase, that we're reusing things over and over and over again so we're not creating new waste. But also, something that we can do all the time is talk about it, like protecting marine life, protecting marine mammals, sharing the shore, making sure that wildlife has a space to be wild. If we're not talking about these things, then those things just won't happen. They don't happen on their own.
Hear that, nature keepers? There's lots of ways we can help the marine animals, especially the seals and sea lions who spend a lot of time on the beach. Well, now that you've learned about how to speak for the beach, I'm giving you a truffle trophy. You can collect all my trophies by learning about other amazing places and animals you can help protect. Thanks for caring, and keep it up, nature keepers.